Morning, good morning, good morning. You're welcome today to the Read With Me series, episode 5. And I remain Abiola. How are you? Happy new week to everybody. How was your weekend? I hope your week is off to a great start. So put it in the comment section how you're doing. I would like to really hear from you. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Good morning. I have a new person here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. So you're welcome today to the Read With Me series, episode 5. And today, if you've missed any of the episodes, we're reading the book, Help, I'm Raising My Children Alone. Help, I'm Raising My Children Alone. And, we'll be talking about principles that we can use, that we can learn from, how we're going to learn from tragedy, how we can get wisdom from the tragedy that happens in our lives. So last week we started the subsection about teach them to love imperfect people. Teach them to love imperfect people. Okay, how are you? Alozie Manuel, how are you? Thank you for joining. Just put it in the comments anyway. Put it in the comments in the comment section there. Just so that you're doing fine. Okay, so today we're just going right into it. We're going right into it, and we'll continue with that series about teach them to love imperfect people. What are them? The children in the relationship, in our families. Like if the relationship didn't work out, so what do we learn from our past? What did we learn? How can we navigate through that season with our children? So it says that teach them to love imperfect people. And I'll just read, and it says that teach them that if they meet someone whom they feel they have to change in order to love, then that person is not the one. Wow. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're new, you followed my page, I think yesterday or something. You're quite new. So thank you for following the page. Thank you so much. And please share with as many people that you feel like might need this. Okay, so here, a comment here which is very interesting. It's saying here that teach them that if they meet someone whom they feel they have to change in order to love, then that person is not the one. Jeez. Now, to be honest, if you're going to watch the replay later on, I would like to hear from you what your thoughts are on if you meet somebody and you feel like you need to change them to love them. Most of the time we get into relationships, especially even for the female gender, like we get into relationships and we feel like we want to change that person. We want to, or he's going to change, or she's going to change, or whatever. So, and if this one is now saying that if you're in a relationship and you feel like you meet somebody and you feel like you have to change them in order to love them, then that person is not the one. That person is not the one. Now, I would like to hear your thought. This is quite, if I want to delve on this point alone, we'll stay here all day, because at the end of the day, in a way, if you look at it, we all want to be better. We all expect to always grow in our relationships, to become better. That's a change. So if you are requiring that, does that mean that person is not the one? Is that what it's saying? No. But if a whole lot of things doesn't align with the person in that relationship, like you don't have the same values, you're not heading the same way, you're not going to you don't have the same vision, other kind of things, like it's a struggle. Most times, even in relationships nowadays, it's just a struggle, and we don't have the same values, the same virtues, it just conflict and collision every time. That might just be a pointer that person is not the one. So, and I just read on, it says, I would like to hear your comments. Anyways, you can put it in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on what I just said. So it says that, for when love is right, we are prepared to live with strengths and weaknesses all in the same house. When love is right, we are prepared to live with strengths and weaknesses all in the same house. It is amazing, but love seems to cover the flaws, depending on what flaw it is. Love seems to cover the flaws. Really, at the end of the day, even though we want to be in a relationship and we feel like, okay, we want this person to align or whatever, we're not really looking for perfect people. Even most people think that, but nobody is perfect. Even we ourselves in the relationship, we're not perfect anyway. So but depending on the flaw though, because if you look at it and you say, oh, somebody is violent towards you, you say, oh, that's just my weakness. Hello, that's not something to put up with. So many things like that. So we need to really understand what kind of flaws are we talking about. Oh, okay, the person always forgets to put the toothpaste here or whatever. Those kind of menial, kind of small things, we can overlook. Or putting your shoes here or whatever, like those kind of little things we can overlook. But when it comes to really serious stuff, and that's why we need to understand what a healthy relationship looks like, in order for us to be able to navigate our relationships and judge and ascertain, what are we building in our relationships, you see. And then in a way too, it's not about to just discard every relationship, but when we arm ourselves with the right tools and knowledge, we can always get to where we want to get to if we are willing to learn. So I'll just read on. It says that covering them doesn't mean that you are not aware of them. It just means that the covenant is strong enough to cover the accident. That the covenant is strong enough to cover the accident, like an insurance policy that is strong enough to cover a driver who made a mistake. Okay, so here there's a scripture here. It says that 1 Peter 4 verse 8, it says that above all, love each other deeply. Woo! Love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sin. In our generation today, loving each other deeply is not taking the front stage. Loving each other deeply, that is deep. That is really deep. It says love each other deeply. Love each other deeply, genuinely. Loving each other deeply takes the grace of God, because it says love covers a multitude of sin. So this broadcast today is reminding you and I today that even as we start a new week today, whether our relationship worked or it didn't work or whatever, we can decide to love our neighbors. We can decide to love our children. We can decide to love our ex-spouse. We can decide to love our employer, whatever. That, what are we learning from today? Take a more intentional decision to love, not just with words, but to really love deeply, to love each other deeply. Good morning. Thank you for joining. To love each other deeply. I mean, it's so beautiful to love. It's so beautiful to love. During the week, I don't know, I think it was last week or something, they were like, in spite of whatever you go through in life, love, when you choose love, even when people do you wrong, when you choose love, it protects your heart. It protects your heart, even from, from anger or bitterness or resentment or whatever, And many things happen in life. Life happens to everybody, you see. Life happens to everybody. But when we are intentional about loving anyways, yes, I'm being betrayed, I'm being lied on, I'm being cheated upon, or I'm having struggle, I'm having issues of life or whatever. But you know what? Guess what? I decide to see the positive. I decide to look at it in a more positive way. I'm not going to be pessimistic. I'm going to choose the positive way. I'm going to choose a good way to deal with this situation. I'm not going to, especially when a relationship breaks up or whatever, I'm not going to speak ill of the person. I'm not going to put the children in between the mix of all the drama. I just decide, make a decision. It's a brave thing to do. It's a courageous thing to do, to choose love in spite of anything. So this week, I'm encouraging you, and I'm encouraging myself also, that we should love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sin, and even love protects our hearts also. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know if you have ever loved. If somebody have done wrong to you and you chose to love, please put it in the comment section. It has happened to me, like many times or whatever. But I just feel like the way we conquer is by choosing love, and it just protects your heart. You can just literally feel it, like you dispel the bad energy or the evil when you just still choose to love intentionally, like in your heart, from your heart. It's a beautiful thing. And we cannot actually do that without God, in our lives. So I just read on. It says that no wonder the virgin covered the groom with blood. Blood covering is the only way any relationship survives. If it were not for the blood, we would not be with the Lord. As your children embark upon life, equip them with the necessity of knowing the acts of forgiveness. Ooh. As your children embark upon life, equip them with the necessity of knowing the act of forgiveness if you're going to survive this life. And that's why we cannot teach the children what we don't have. You cannot teach them what you have not practiced, what you have not mastered. So, we need to master the act of forgiveness, because guess what? You live long enough, somebody's going to hurt you. You live long enough, somebody's going to do something to you. And that's just part of life. But then, what is the tool? How do you navigate that situation? You embrace the act of forgiveness. We embrace the act of forgiveness, choosing that. How do we love? That's another one. How do we love when people do us wrong? We engage the act of forgiveness, you see. And then when we even develop in that area, we can also teach our children the act of forgiveness. It says that if the bond is not strong enough to shed blood again, then that person is not the one. Why is this important? I am glad you asked. After a traumatic divorce, children suddenly realize that people can give up on each other. By the way, we are reading Help, I'm Raising My Children Alone. So, by T.D. Jakes. And it's for single parent, a guide for single parents and those who sometimes feel they are single. Okay. So it says there that, after a traumatic divorce, children suddenly realize that people can give up on each other. And if you look at our generation today, a lot of times, marriages, so many things are going on in our family, so many things are going on, in our nation today, everywhere, and we're wondering what is actually going on. So children are left, to deal with the mess. They are going through a lot of ripple effect of all of these things. And I don't even know, are we actually thinking about the children? Are we actually thinking about the children? Are we thinking about the children? I have a comment here. Alozie Emmanuel says, absolutely agree. Love is the greatest. When you choose to love and disregard whatever you have been through. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that comment. It is the greatest. And I just feel like, everybody that will watch this, if we can all choose to love, even one person, even two, in your own sphere of influence, just choose to love. You will make a difference. We can make a difference, by just choosing to love anyways. Choosing, that's how you shed light. Whew, that's how you overcome darkness. That's how you spread light in your world, by choosing to love. Okay, wonderful. All right, so now we're going into, they said that when relationships break up, it says after a traumatic divorce, children suddenly realize that people can give up on each other, and it's frightening for them to realize that mommy and daddy stopped loving each other. They wonder how that is possible. Deeper still, many feel as though they might be the next victims. They wonder, suppose I don't clean my room or take out the trash, maybe I will have to leave also. That's the children now in a probably divorced home, and here he's saying that help your children walk through these insecurities, because all of these things will happen too. Like, wasn't I good enough? Is that why mommy left? Is that why daddy left? Maybe it's because of me. That this is the children now thinking about it. Even spouses too will think, am I not good enough? Or is this? But it's not really about you, really. Some of the times, it's not really about you. So we should help our children, deal with all of these things that will come up in their mind, different thought patterns, trying to make them feel insufficient, insecurity. It says these insecurities may show up in depression or anger. These insecurities may show up in depression or anger. The problem is not just the absence of the other parent. It is facing the fact that people do give up. To be honest, we do give up. We actually do give up. If we have not if you have not gone through some stuff, or if you hear some other stories, sometimes we come to the end of ourselves and we just give up on the other person. Like, it's not working, and we do give up. That's just the reality of life. We do give up. If you're watching, probably you are in a relationship that is not working anymore, or you guys have separated or divorced, or probably you are even from a single parent home also. It's just in our society everywhere. We are faced with this every single time, and we realize that, to be honest, the fact is that we do give up. We actually do give up. So most of the time, why do we give up? We give up because number one, we have come to the end of ourselves. We want to do things by our own power or whatever, and also maybe we don't even know what to do. We don't have the skills to deal with the issues, you see. And even in the African society too, all of this therapy stuff, all of this talking about our issues, how to deal with conflict resolution, so many things like that, we don't really know it. We don't really embrace those things, and that's why we can even have marriages or families whereby it's so unhealthy and it's so toxic, but we don't know how to navigate it. We don't have the tools, you see. We don't have the knowledge to know how relationship works, you see, and we're not even learning, and so therefore we give up. So these are reasons why we do give up. And it says that is frightening for us all. That is frightening for us all. That is why you should be sure that you strengthen their understanding of how it is supposed to work. But then you must know how a relationship should work if you want to teach the children how it should work. So please, if you have any comments or questions or something, please put it in the comment section, and then we'll see what we can deliberate on. Okay, so it says here that ultimately they would ask, if that is true, why did you not stay together? So if you think that, if you want to tell the children that, oh yeah, this is how a good relationship should work or whatever, and they will ask you that, okay, if that's how it's supposed to work, why didn't you stay together? Okay, and it says that tell them the pattern is right, but there was a flaw in the material. Whew. The pattern is right, but there was a flaw in the material. Tell them the truth. Tell them we failed. That's another thing about, parents to children, being vulnerable to our children, being vulnerable. Like, this is the part I've walked, and I failed here. I made a mistake here. I failed here. This is what I did, and this is what this is the lesson I learned from my mistake. Most times, adults or even parents want to feel like, oh yeah, I have it all together, or don't do this, don't do that, just do this, I'm perfect or whatever. No, but they learn better when they know that we are human ourselves, and okay, this is the pattern, this is what it should be, but we couldn't get there. We failed. Own it. I think sometimes it will set us free when we own our failure. Yeah, to set us free when we own our failure, and even come to the reality, to that terms that sometimes in our mind we struggle with a whole lot of things, and you be like, come to the truths, come to the knowledge of it, that guess what, this is, I messed up here, I failed, and let it sink in, so that I can move past it. Whatever you do, don't make the pattern the failure. Teach the pattern, but warn them that the pattern is the ideal, and occasionally there will be flaws in the material. So if you can avoid it, do not commit to a material that is so flawed that you cannot live with the garments of marriage. Now, it's like I'm speaking in parables. I'll read it again so that it can sink in, and when the replay is available, go back again, pause it, listen to it, let it sink in, and think about what it's trying to say here. It says, whatever you do, don't make the pattern the failure. Teach the pattern, but warn them that the pattern, is the ideal, and occasionally there will be flaws in the material. If you can avoid it, Do not commit to a material that is so flawed that you cannot live with the garments of marriage. Tell the children that it is what you did, but you do not want that to happen to them. I'm not going to dwell on that, but that is deep. But I think that if you're in a relationship, you get it. It was talking here that, don't occasionally there will be flaws in our relationships or in dealing with people. There will be flaws and there will be stuff that will happen. Everybody have strengths, everybody have weaknesses. But guess what? Make sure that all of those things that you're dealing with, the weakness that you're dealing with or whatever, is not something that is so grievous or so detrimental to your own life or to your own health, that you will not be able to, commit to the marriage or to be in it. So actually, in saying all of these things, we will be able to know when something is not healthy in a relationship. When we need to say, no, this is not for me. Like, that's, to be honest with you, like, we need to start saying all of these things. We need to start increasing the volume. We need to start loudening it up. Why? Because sometimes when we get into relationships, it's like we just forget who we are. You forget. It's like you forget. Some people, you lose yourself in the relationship, and then you don't even know what is healthy anymore. You don't know what is right anymore. Someone is verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, or even physically abusive, or something, and you feel like, is that okay? That's not okay. That is not okay. So we need to know when to say no. So we need to have, a healthy self-esteem to be able to know when to say no. This is not just an ordinary flaw or something, and call it out and actually work on issues. Okay, so so important. The reason is because number one, for the people also, you yourself, that you're not healthy in the relationship, and then the ripple effect of raising children in that kind of environment is not healthy for anybody. And guess what? Raising children in that kind of environment will not bring forth wholesome children in the society. You see, so a lot of onus, a lot of responsibility is put upon us adults in relationships to do things right. That's a form of leadership, really. That's a form of leadership. That's a form of leadership. Okay, I have a question here. Adeolu says that, is it possible for people with opposite personalities to have a successful marriage? Yes. They can have opposite personalities. Like some people, they always say personality traits or something like that. They always say this one is melancholy, this one is sanguine, this one is phlegmatic, all of those things. Now, if you ask me, like temperament or whatever, yeah, that's the word, temperament. You can be different, but at the same time, you have the same vision. At the end of the day, we're not supposed to be the same anyways, but we can have the same vision. We're not supposed to be fashioned, even by our gender alone. Anyway, a woman and a man, we are different. So by the way we look at something is so different, but then we have a goal. We can have the same vision, even in our differences. You understand? We can have the same vision of, okay, what do we want to build our home on? Okay, we want to build it on honesty. We want to have good values. We want to be kind. We want to be loving. How do I show for that? How do we achieve that? Okay, in my differences, this is the way I choose to love. In that other person that is also different, they have another way that they express their own love, find expression. You see, so we can still have opposite personalities or different temperaments. I would say different temperaments, and still have the same vision. We can still have successful marriages, because at the end of the day, we're not all the same. We're not we are so different. We are different even by the gender alone. We are even different, not talk of even personalities. We can have different personalities and we can still make it work or have successful marriages. So I hope I tried with that, with the answer. So definitely, yeah. But another thing that is also important is also that the both parties are also willing to learn. It's a teamwork. Marriage, most of the time, selfishness is a big killer for marriage. Like, without a team, the dream of marriage can never be realized without the teamwork of the two people working together. And in a team, you see, many people, what makes a team work? A team have different strengths of people that are there with different strengths, with different capabilities, but they come together with one vision to say, okay, this is our goal for this team, and they work together to achieve that goal. So in a marriage, if we don't agree, how do we even agree how do we work together if we don't agree? So if we don't agree, there's no team, and then the dream of marriage cannot work. So you see, so you can even have the people with the same personalities that don't even agree, and they will still not have successful marriage. So you see, so it's a wake-up call even for people. I don't know anybody's status here, but like, for single people that are looking forward to having a healthy relationship, think about it very, very well, that even in your differences, check it out. What kind of marriage do I want to build? What are the ingredients that I need to build this thing? And do we agree together to develop in the virtues that we need, in the skills that we need to be able to build this? Okay, have intentional, smart conversations, because it's so important. Yesterday I was talking about in our youth class, and I was talking about, you can be so successful, you can be so wealthy, you can be so rich, the worldly definition of success, have a lot of beautiful cars, houses and everything, but you can be so miserable, like you don't have peace. What's that? You don't have peace in your relationship. You don't have joy. Everybody is just chaotic. Then what's the point? So all this we are talking about, it's so important. It's so important, and it will help all of us when we have the right knowledge to be able to navigate all of the issues that we have in our lives. When we do, we thrive and we get it better. Okay, so thank you so much for that question. Okay, so then the next point here, it says that teach them to turn their pain into power. Teach them to turn their pain into power. Nothing is wasted. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what your journey has been in your life. But guess what? Nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Pain is not biased. Pain is not biased. It comes to us all. You live long enough, you're going to go through pain. When I was young, you just think life is a bed of roses, like life is just, it's going to be there. But as you grow up, you realize that you will go through something. You will go through something. And then guess what? You don't get to choose what you go through. Look at that. But when we know, there's another episode that I did with Reverend Christy Baturi, and then she was saying that pain is universal. Pain is universal, and it's something that it's going to happen to everybody. Okay, so it says pain is not biased. It comes to us all. Indiscriminately, yeah, it comes against the young as well as the old. Yeah, no race escape its clutches, the clutches of pain. It doesn't care about your race, whether you're white or you're black, whether you're Asian, you're Indian, you're whatever, American, African. Pain doesn't respect your gender or your status. It comes, it comes to everybody. Its tentacles can reach the lofty or the lowly, yet pain is productive. Whew. Pain is productive. What time is it now? I'll be ending like about 1 minute. I'll keep it 30 minutes. Yet pain is productive. If our physical bodies knew no pain, we would have no way of knowing when we were going too far. Whew. We would injure ourselves beyond repair because nothing would warn us that we had stopped our toe or hammered our thumb. Yes, pain hurts, but there is a purpose to it. Ooh, pain hurts, but there's a purpose to it. I think we should shift our focus a little bit. When we go through pain, let's begin to ask questions. What is the purpose in this pain? Just for example, now if you hurt your toe, if you it says that you stumble beyond repair. It says injure, or you stumble your toe, or hammered your thumb, on something, and you go through pain. I think for children, even, when they go through something, they're like, no, I will not come to this thing again. They know that, oh, it's dangerous, I won't come here again, because they went through pain, and they know that, no, this is not the way to go. So there's a purpose and there's a lesson for us to learn, from our pain. Okay, pain hurts, but there is a purpose to it. So I don't know what pain you have gone through in life. I don't know what your reality has been. I don't know what your past has been. But today, even as we go on with our day today, we started again from having an intention to love. Okay, and then back in there, in your subconscious being, also in subconscious mind, think about it, that all the pain that I've gone through in my life, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of it? And by the way, if you're yet to know Jesus, I will not leave this place without telling you about Jesus, because I wanted to say that you speak to Jesus, you speak to God about the pain, the purpose of the pain, and it will begin to reveal to you, what are the lessons and what are the things that you can learn from all of these things in order for you to move to the next stage of your life or the next season of your life. So if you are yet to know Jesus, because at the end of the day, we're talking about loving somebody, loving deeply, loving ourselves deeply. We don't have that capacity as human beings. That's why we go into relationships. We think that that person is going to be so sufficient for me. Is going to love me from the moon and back. 100% love. He's gonna love me. She's gonna love me. Hello. After a while, you realize that the person, they will come to the end of themselves, because guess what? No human being can ever give us the love that will really, really fill us. No human being has the capacity to fully love us the way we ought to. And therefore, even when we say we want to love somebody else, if you don't have a relationship with the one that is love himself, there's no way the love can be poured upon our hearts to be able to, transmit that love or share that love with somebody else. This is what we're talking about. So I don't know even if relationship has broken up or whatever, but still we can choose to love. And having a relationship with Jesus Christ, will give us a more meaningful and awesome life. A more meaningful and awesome life. Nothing in your life is wasted. Your journey is valid, and God is relevant in your situation, is relevant, is beautiful for your situation. Okay, so I encourage you, to think about it and go back and actually have a deep personal reflection on actually choosing a life with God, choosing a life with Jesus. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about going to church or just be going to church or being religious. No, because a lot of times we do all of these things, but then we still lack. We lack that life. We lack that abundant life. We lack that, that relationship with Him. You see, so I would love to really, really encourage you, if you're watching this and you're going to watch this later on, to go back again and reconcile yourself back to God. All right, so I'm going to round off now. Thank you so much, Aloze Manuel and Adeolu. Thank you so much for joining today. All of you are new people, so thank you so much. And you actually interacted, so thank you so much for joining. Please share with everybody that needs to watch this also. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. The Sign with Abiola on YouTube, The Sign with Abiola on Instagram here, and The Sign with Abiola on Facebook. I remain Abiola. So I'll be seeing you. I'll be doing the next live on next Monday at 12 noon GMT. Okay, so thank you so much. Enjoy your day, and don't forget to love deeply. All right. Okay. So bless you. God bless you. And see you next week. Okay. Bye.